Remember your first boss that you worked for and the impression that person made on you? And here I was, a young lieutenant in my 20s, and I was assigned to a medical battalion here at Fort Benning, Georgia. And I was like the lowest ranking officer in the whole battalion. But I had a great boss. His name was Joe Moffett. And Joe Moffett was a former Special Forces medic who went to Vietnam and came back and was commissioned, and he was my company commander. And Joe wasn't like a lot of the people I met in the military. He was what you call a transparent person. He didn't let his ego or his past experience get in the way. He was one of these people who was a hands-on leader who showed me how to be an effective officer. Now, I made a lot of mistakes in my early days. And I remember, when you're the lowest ranking officer, you have to do something called pull duty. You know what duty is? How many of you are veterans here in this room? Thank you for your service. Duty, for those who have not been in the military, is where you work all day long, all night, and you're the senior ranking person in charge. And I had duty on the worst day of the year, Friday night, New Year's Eve. 800 single men and women in this battalion. You can imagine what my night was like. I was getting men out of the women's barracks, women out of the men's barracks, breaking up fights, getting people out of jail. I mean, it was like the bar scene in Star Wars. I mean, it was all night long. And as soon as I would try to close my eyes, the phone would ring and say, Lieutenant Smith, you need to go to the company and get the people out of the fight. And this went on all night long. I was miserable. But Joe was still my commander. And I remember 10 o'clock Saturday morning, finally, things had calmed down. New Year's Day, the phone rings. And I said, Lieutenant Smith speaking, sir. And it's Joe, my commander. He says, Greg, I know you've had a rough night. And my wife and I have prepared you something for lunch, and we're wondering if you have any plans. Plans? No, I was going to go get off duty, go to sleep. I wasn't married. I was married to the Army. And he brought this meal. And I want you to know, I don't remember what it was, but it was a meal that made an impression that I never forgot. Because at that moment, Joe Moffett crystallized in my life what it meant to be a service above self leader. You see, customer service is an 8-to-5 obligation, but leadership is a 24-hour-a-day responsibility. And that's the leader I aspired to be. Was like him, service above self.